You're a wild card, Reyes.
Oh, God. Hey, y'all. I'm AJ Reyes.
And I'm Timothy Dailey-Valdes. Welcome to Can I Bother You? Happy
Welcome.
New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah. Happy New Year's Eve.
If you were enjoying the show, we would love it if you would come find us on the socials. We're at Can I Bother You on Instagram and Twitter and kind of Facebook, but not really.
But mostly yes.
But mostly yes.
Hope your Christmas was good, or your winter holiday, whatever it was. Hope it was good for you. I hope it was safe.
As I am a Catholic, I will say I hope Christmas continues to be good to you because today is the 8th day of Christmas. I'll have to look at a calendar. We're recording this far in advance. Sorry for pulling back the curtain. Whatever day of Christmas it is, whatever day of Kwanzaa it is, whatever possibly day of Hanukkah it is, I really need to look at a calendar. Welcome to the very end of 2020.
Oh, gosh. This is the first, not the full year, but the first year of Can I Bother You's existence.
It's true.
So that's exciting. We started late in the year, but still, it matters.
It does.
Because something has to matter.
But lots of things matter, right?
Oh, don't be silly. I guess this episode we'll just talk about that, huh?
Yeah, resolutions, what the year changing means to us, New Year's traditions.
Yeah. We can also reflect on how awful this year's been. That'd be nice. We definitely haven't spent enough time talking about how awful everything is.
I really feel like nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it, and that's the weirdest thing.
It's like people are just completely avoiding it.
Yeah, no one will talk about the elephant in the COVID.
But we're here to discuss the real issues.
So, issue number 1. What's the deal with airplanes? I don't know.
It's so funny because like the stereotypical one is what's the deal with airline food?
Oh, there it is.
What's the deal with airplanes?
I couldn't remember.
How did they stay up there?
How do they? You know? How did that happen? That's the mystery we have to solve in 2021. Forget COVID.
I wish we could forget COVID.
Oh, God. Did you have any resolutions for this year, for 2020?
I don't recall having made any. I'm sure I had something in mind. Oh, I think to get a new job, which I did.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you.
That is true.
And Katie.
Without us, you'd be nothing.
And that's true.
You even did that early on in the year, too.
Yeah, I applied. I think I applied the last day of January. And then my interview was February 11th, the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes. I'm not like a good Catholic, y'all. Don't be fooled. Anyway.
But you're always rattling things off like that. You're honestly probably still better than like Catholics who regularly attend church.
I don't know.
And like actively call themselves Catholic. I doubt that they could just list saint days. Is that what they're called? Saint days? Days
You
of
can call
saints?
them that, feast days.
Sainty daisies?
I love that. And then I got hired on March. I think my official on paper start date was the 1st. That's the only one I can really remember. Did you have any resolutions for 2020?
The last few years, I've told myself they're not resolutions. They're things that I like to do. Because I feel like if I don't do a resolution, I'm failing at the resolution.
I get that.
Whereas if I just acknowledge what I'd like to try to do, I know what I'd like to try to do.
Yeah.
I can't remember anything in particular for this year other than just keep acting. That's all I remember for sure. And in theory, I've done that with my YouTube channel, but I mean,
Totally, yeah.
the fact that I haven't really been able to do it is because, things out of my control.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's a pandemic or something.
What? Even though we already discussed it.
But I think that that's the closest thing I had to a resolution.
I think starting with 2016 going into 2017, I wanted to, and I did this that year, but I don't think I've done it any other year, but I want to. I've done a list of things to celebrate or be grateful for the year that's ending, and a list of goals and aspirations and things I want to do, like you said, AJ, for the year ahead. And I've meant to do it every year since, and I haven't.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've also heard that people, like, throughout the year, they'll write down, like, oh, here's both small and large things. Like, here's something little that happened today that made me feel happy or something, and they'll put them in a jar. Then at the end of the year, they'll read through all of them.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's a really nice idea. I'm not going to do it, but because I'd probably start it and then not get around to it. I'd like forget or...
That's real.
Yeah, but I like the idea.
Yeah.
Also, back when Snapchat first started, I heard that people were sending themselves snaps throughout the year, and then at the end of the year, yeah, they'd watch the whole thing.
That's pretty cool.
Right? I think I'll do what I was saying that I do, and I won't come up with resolutions for 2021. I'll just keep in mind what I'd like to do.
I like that.
Do you think you'll do your list thing this
I
year?
want to do it, but at the very least, I think I'll try to do what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Do you have any in mind?
Just my YouTube channel. Other than that, it's all up in the air because I don't know what my money thing is.
Yeah.
Like, until I know if my unemployment is ending or not, I won't know what to do or when to freak out or anything. So
yeah, everything's so uncertain.
Yeah, it feels great. I'm actually okay. Part of being an actor is having uncertainty all the time because you never know what your next job is going to be. And so now it's like that, but the stakes are even higher than usual. So it's not really anything at all.
Yeah. You thrive under pressure.
That's true. But yeah, other than pursuing the YouTube channel and, of course, this podcast, I don't know. What else? I think I'll eventually join TikTok, but the soonest that's going to happen is probably like this summer because I need to get my YouTube channel under control first.
Under control.
Yeah.
Your YouTube channel is out of control.
I'm certainly out of control with it. I'd like to be ahead like we are with this podcast. We batch them and then we can stay on our schedule. I haven't been able to do that with my YouTube videos because it takes me so long to like do anything with them.
Sure.
So until I can finally like get ahead on them, I can't really think about anything else.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what you want to do next year?
I want to try to go back to vegetarianism.
Oh.
Listener, it came up briefly on the travel episode and maybe another episode, I'm not sure. But I was a vegetarian for, I want to say 3 years. And then I moved to San Marcos, Texas, which is not very far at all from Austin. But the vegetarian options there are fewer and farther between. Like, it's not impossible to be a vegetarian there at all, but I was not a good enough vegetarian to handle it. And then I haven't looked back, but I would like to. I felt healthier as vegetarian, and I did it for, not that I would never criticize anybody's dietary choices as long as they're not like sacrificing and eating people or something.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I wouldn't criticize anybody else's dietary choices, but I did become a vegetarian for ethical reasons. Maybe we can discuss that on another episode. So I would like to go back to that. And I feel like my writing has stagnated a little bit. I haven't devoted enough time recently to it. I haven't done the work recently. I haven't been submitting really. I haven't been doing a whole lot of writing, and so I'd like to get back into that. I don't want to blather on and on forever, but those are maybe the two big ones.
Yeah, eating better is one for me too, which I'm kind of doing. If I could buy groceries more often, it'd be so much easier.
I know.
So I buy the groceries for Timothy and myself, and I go once a month because there's a pandemic. And so I just want to be in the store as little as possible. And I was thinking, because I want to start eating more greens, I can't eat them because they keep going bad. And so I'm like, okay, I'll start going every 2 weeks. And then all the numbers started going up again in Texas. And we're breaking records. So I'm like, all right, well, never mind, not now. So maybe mid-January, February, numbers will go down again. And I can start going every 2 weeks and we can actually buy green things that aren't frozen. Not that there's anything wrong with frozen green things, but I'd like to feel bougie with fresh vegetables, you know? Fresh, pre-packaged salad mixes. It would make me feel so bougie.
What's your favorite vegetable? This is not on topic at all, but I'm just curious.
Broccoli.
Mine too.
I'm gonna say broccoli, but I also like celery and spinach. And honestly, there's not a vegetable that I hate.
Really?
Yeah. I just don't eat them. They're not chicken. And they go bad so fast.
Yeah, that's true. I like most vegetables. I'll say I hate celery.
Really?
Yeah, it just tastes... I don't like it.
I've never been into sauces with my food. So, I don't eat ketchup or anything either. But, yeah, I'll see people dip celery into ranch. And I'm like, I'm good. And I'll just, eat it the way it is. I'm like, I don't know. I'm fine.
I like ranch and I don't eat celery with ranch. I can't. Little pieces of celery in things, I'll tolerate it. I don't know. I don't know. Some people say it doesn't taste like anything, which to me is not true.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I've heard that, and like I don't mind. I'll allow people to say it, but I don't agree with it. Yeah, I think it has a taste, and I can see why you don't like it. But I think I like the reason I enjoy eating it is because it makes me feel like a model. I can picture a model, just eating celery.
You expend more calories eating celery than you take in.
That checks out. It's not very filling.
Yeah.
That's also part of why I don't eat vegetables, because I'm never full.
Yeah. Well, celery is especially unfilling because it's mostly water.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, I'm going to go get some water real quick. Timothy, entertain them.
AJ is all about the importance of hydration. He constantly reminds me to drink water. He constantly reminds his YouTube viewers, which I guess also includes me, to drink water. I think if he were First Lady or something, it would be his cause. No, maybe not. I don't know.
In case Timothy decides that he was entertaining and he keeps that, I'm back with my water. So, thank you for joining us. If you want to see pictures of my water, you can find them on...
Oh my god. Can you imagine if people took pictures of their water glasses like they do of their food? There's like a performance art project in there somewhere. Do you have any New Year's traditions that you...
No, and it wasn't until I was working when I was doing Shipped the first year that I was buying groceries, that I learned that, what is it? Is it like
Black Eyed Peas?
Yeah, Black Eyed Peas are like a thing. I didn't know that until my first New Year's Eve, and everyone was like, the week before New Year's, everyone was buying Black Eyed Peas, and I was like, what is this about? What is happening? I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah. Other than that, I don't think I have a New Year's Eve tradition. I feel like if I did, it'd be spending it alone.
Yeah.
I start the new year alone a lot.
I feel like, yeah, that checks out.
Yeah.
I feel like that happens.
Do you have any?
I grew up on the Black Eyed Peas thing. Like that was something we did in my house. And I haven't ever done this, but there's a Spanish tradition, like from Spain, for each of the 12 strokes of midnight, like the 12 rings of the midnight bell. For each one of those, you pop a grape, like you eat a grape, and you make a wish on each grape. I've always wanted to do that, but I've never done it. I always try to find something to do on New Year's Eve, whether it's a party or hanging out with friends or whatever. And sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. This last New Year's, I had like a really low-key evening where I went over to a friend's house, a friend who I'm very fond of, but I don't want to say I don't know her that well, but we haven't spent that much time together. But she was the only person there that I knew. And so it was really interesting ringing in the new year with a very small group of people, only one of whom I knew at all. And then 2020 was terrible. Not because of that. I just think it's interesting that it was such a different New Year's for me. And then it was such a different year.
I can't remember what I did for New Year's Eve for 2020.
If I remember as I was leaving, I think your plan that night was just to spend it alone. Maybe you were cleaning or something.
There's a good chance.
Or you were working on something.
I don't know. The most recent, also because I spend them all alone, I don't remember too many of them. I remember one, I think it was 2016 into 2017. It could have been 2017 into 2018, but I was watching Parks and Rec, and that's one of my favorite New Year's. It was the first time that I'd ever watched Parks and Rec, and I remember I finished the series just after midnight, so I started the new year just finishing Parks and Rec for the first time, and I love that show. I remember that night, and I had a lot of fun. Man, I think I like spending them alone because I'm like, I'm gonna spend this year alone. I'll be alone now, too. You know? Not that I'm like spending the year alone. But,
no, I know what you mean, but like, you're
I'm always with me.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you said that, because the way my brain couldn't get to a sentence that worked, and the closest it got was "you're all you have," which is not what I meant. I meant that you're the one constant.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Exactly. Yeah, because I don't really get lonely. I don't like feel negatively about any of the people in my life. Like, I love you. I love spending time with you.
I love you too, AJ.
Great. And like I have plenty of people in my life that I love and I love to be with, but no one is with me as often as I'm with me, and that really, really means something to me. I don't know if other people think about it someone else in the world must think about it the same way as I do. There's too many people in the world for there to be no one else. But like, for me, because I'm always with me, I'm not my favorite person. That's definitely not true. But it's like, I'm most comfortable with myself, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, like, I like starting the new year alone because I'm like, okay, we can feel how we want to feel and we can figure out what we want to figure out. And then we can enjoy this year with everyone else, knowing that we started it with us.
I really like that.
Thank you. Us being me, in case anyone got lost, because I don't know what I said. But yeah, that's why I like starting them alone. And I figured that out in high school. I don't know what year it was, but I was standing in Alyssa's front yard. Alyssa is one of my closest friends and also a former roommate. But we're still in high school, so we're still living at home with our parents. And I remember we were going to hang out. I think she was with her family or something. And we decided to spend the rest of the night hanging out together. And so we were going to meet at her place, but I got there before her. And so she was in her car driving there at midnight. And so I was standing in her front yard at midnight, just kind of looking up the stars, standing alone. And I think that might have been the first time I spent a midnight alone for New Year's Eve. And I was like, this feels nice. I like this. And so most years since then, I've tried to do it.
That year that 2016 going into 2017, the year that I wrote that list that I was talking about, I spent that one alone. I was living with my parents at the time, and I was sitting alone in their living room. They had already gone to bed, and the lights were low. The Christmas tree was still lit, and it was all very quiet. And they have a grandfather clock in their foyer, and it was like ticking and talking. And then it chimed at midnight as people down the street, you could hear very faint cheers. They were setting off fireworks. And so there was the light crackle of fireworks. And it was just very peaceful. I was just sitting there by myself, and I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good year. And then it kind of was and kind of wasn't. And now we're here.
And then you survived that year, and now we're here.
But anyway, my point in saying that is I can relate.
Have you ever, I forget that this is a thing, have you ever had someone to kiss at midnight? Because I forget that that's a tradition.
I'm trying to remember. My high school girlfriend, I think we spent one New Year's Eve. My aunt threw a little party and we went together, and I think we kissed at midnight then. And I remember I've kissed people on the cheek at midnight, basically platonically. If those times don't count, no, not really. Have you?
No. I mean, I've spent most of them alone.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever been dating anyone over the crossover from one year into the next. I think I've definitely dated people or hooked up with people right before or right after, but never like in between.
Do you now, or did you at any point in your life, right? This isn't an interrogation. Are you now, or have you ever been a communist? Do you now, or did you ever regularly watch The Ball Drop or any other New Year's Eve programming?
No, the only time I can remember watching it drop was for Y2K.
Oh, man, yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, all right, yeah, let's do this bother go down then. And yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah, well, that always gets me all fired up. Because, not that I'm saying this is what you're doing at all.
No, bring it. Bring it.
But a lot of people are like, oh, they got us all paranoid about Y2K and then nothing happened. But the reason nothing happened is people worked tirelessly around the clock for years to make sure that nothing happened. Like, my stepdad was on the Y2K compliance team at the newspaper where he worked, and they worked really hard to make sure nothing went wrong. There was like a very popular sentiment in the media that it was like, you need to go out and buy water, and like, you need to be paranoid, you need to have a bunker, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people did that expecting something to happen, and then it didn't. Whereas what was really happening was people working to make sure that computer systems wouldn't stop working and everything. And so when nothing happened, I think a lot of people did think like, oh, we got all paranoid for nothing. And it's like, well, maybe, but I mean, it was good to be prepared, and being prepared is why nothing happened, you know? I
don't even know. I didn't know then or now what was supposed to happen. Like, I was 10 years old, and I remember everyone was buying water, and that's like all I remember about it. I remember hearing something about computers and something about a bunch of zeros, and I was like, I don't know. Seems like things will probably be fine. And then they were.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know what was supposed to go wrong, or like why nothing went wrong, or if anything ever might have gone wrong. I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah. Do you care?
I mean,
do you think the listeners will care?
I was like, maybe the listeners might care, so maybe give an abridged version.
I'll try. My understanding of what the issue was computer clocks had, up until a few years before the year 2000, had been programmed such that their dates included a 2-digit number to represent the year. And in 2000, when it rolled over to 00, computers weren't programmed to recognize that as 2000. They were programmed to recognize it as 1900. And so it would cause a lot of electronics to malfunction and a lot of computer systems to go down and things like that. So that was the main concern.
Okay.
I remember expecting things to feel different on the morning of January 1st, 2000. I remember some of my cousins and I were driving somewhere with my aunt. I gave her a name previously on the podcast. She's the balloon aunt. That sounds bad. She's not like the size of a balloon or shaped like a balloon. Well, balloon is actually pretty small, unless we're talking about a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade balloon. AJ is burying his head waiting for this to be over. Don't worry, a lot of it's getting cut. But anyway, so we were driving somewhere with her and it was just so quiet and there was almost no one on the roads because it was early in the morning. And I remember just thinking, it doesn't feel any different. There are no like flying cars or robot butlers or like, where is everything? You know?
Yeah. Honestly, that's just how I feel about every year. I'm like, where are the robot cars and the flying butlers and the sense of change? It's all the same. It's the same with aging, too. The problem is that I'm not aging. The problem is that every year I turn 22, and I'm like, how come nothing feels different? And yeah, you ask people, how does this age feel for you? And they're like, oh, it feels really similar to the last age.
Yeah, because time just happens so gradually.
Yeah, exactly. It's just that I never expect that. I'm always surprised.
Me too, yeah.
This isn't even really a New Year's question, I guess. It's just kind of a pandemic question. What's something that you didn't do this year that you'll do as soon as you possibly can?
I think I'll visit my family in Atlanta. And God, I feel like there's so many things, but like in this moment, I can't think of them.
Yeah.
This is going to sound so dumb or so frivolous, I guess.
Say it.
I really want to go wander around Target for a while. I miss just wandering around Target and buying a bunch of crap I don't need.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being basic. Yeah, I get it.
And I miss just like being in places with people. I'm an introvert. Like I need a lot of space and a lot of alone time, but I also just like miss being around human beings. I mean, not that you're not a human being.
Well, yeah, no, it's not the same.
I love spending time with you, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I ain't tripping.
Good.
You almost blew my cover, but no, I'm a human being.
Yeah, like I can't wait to ride the bus again. I can't wait to wait in line at places. I'm excited to go on a plane again, to go to the mall, to go to a party, even just like a small gathering and not have to wear a mask, to go to restaurants again, there's just so many things. Museums. I know museums and stuff are still open in a lot of places, but I don't feel comfortable going to public places really right now.
Yeah, no.
So I haven't been. But I know a lot of people have been just living their lives as normal. And so to them, that might sound silly. But anyway, what about you, AJ?
While you were talking, I thought of a couple things, but then you started like getting more specific, like standing in line. And I was like, oh my God, yeah, there are just a bunch of little things that aren't happening right now. And I think like the only thing that I've thought of so far is as soon as I'm comfortable, I am going to hook up with someone. Because it has been so long since I've had any sort of sexual interaction with anyone.
Yeah, honestly, same. I want to amend my answer to include that.
And other than that, just like the things that I like, theater. I miss
theater.
Yes,
yeah.
I miss theater so bad. For most of quarantine, I was able to ignore it, and then Hamilton came out. I just started feeling so many things because I'm like, I miss that. Like, I miss being on the stage. I miss being backstage. I miss being in the audience watching my friends be amazing on the stage. Like, I just miss it. So I'm looking forward to that someday. Plenty of people are already doing live theater again, but I think that's a mistake. So, as soon as it is actually safe, I'll start doing that again.
Yeah.
And I haven't hugged my mom in 10 months, so I'd like to hug my mom. And the rest of my family. I miss my kids. I don't have kids. But I miss my great nibblings. I'd really like to hug them. I've been going on socially distanced walks with my mom like every couple weeks or so. And I've purposefully chosen to do it on a day when I know she won't be babysitting the kids, because I don't know that the kids won't want to hug me or like climb all over me like they're used to doing, you know? And I'm like, I don't want to have to tell them no, so I'd rather not see them. But I'm really excited to see them again someday. Eating out in restaurants, I'm not doing that. Other people are, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
It'll be nice to do it. Those are probably the main things, because I am still standing in lines, so...
That's fair. Yeah, and to be fair, yeah, I've stood in lines to, like, go vote.
Yeah.
But...
I've got the line at least once a month.
That's not the same.
It's not.
You can't be, like, right next to somebody in line and be thinking, God, back up, because everybody's all so far apart.
That's true.
You talking about hugs, though, makes me realize I need to plan. I don't know who my first hug's going to be, because I haven't had a hug from anybody in 10 months either. Should our first hug be each other on the podcast? Ooh, that's good. Clickbait.
Oh, my God. Yeah, people love to listen to hugs. Great clickbait, Timothy.
We can film it, too.
You know, I can barely look at you. I don't want to hug you.
Well, okay.
Okay, great.
I'm sad.
Good, your sadness is all I've ever wanted. And it's the perfect way to start the new year. You know, the emotion that you are now not wishing to experience. You are welcome. I did that for you.
Thank you, AJ.
I'm here to help.
You always do.
Great.
Isn't it?
Oh, God. I'm trying to think of what I did do a lot this year that I will try to not do next year. If I could get my sleep schedule under control, that'd be chill.
That was literally exactly what I was thinking. I was like, not sleep? That's the thing you need to change.
Yeah. The not sleeping should become sleeping.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, sleep more is on the list of things to try to do. But I mean, it's also been on the list of things to try to do like all year.
That's fair.
We'll see.
But yeah.
It's never too late to succeed.
It's true. Not to be like a downer, but do you have a least favorite New Year memory?
No. Fortunately, nothing comes to mind.
That's good.
Yeah. Anything come to mind for you?
I'm trying to think if I've ever had like a bad one. In the travel episode, I mentioned that we went to Port Aransas. Actually, that might have been cut. On the cutting room floor in the episode, I mentioned that certain members of my extended family and I, when I was growing up, we would go to Port Aransas twice a year. And one of the twices was always around New Year's. And so usually we spent New Year's Eve into New Year's Day there. So I have a lot of like beach memories. A lot of like playing Trivial Pursuit with the fam.
And those were bad?
No, those were good. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had a bad one. I think I've had one or two where I was in a bad mood and so I just kind of went to sleep. Only once or twice. And it wasn't like I was in a bad mood because of New Year's. This is thoroughly uninteresting. I apologize, dear listener. Yeah, I don't have an entertaining or satisfying answer. I don't think I've had a really bad one, but I've had a few mediocre ones. Yeah.
I don't remember most of mine.
Yeah, a lot of them run together for me because a lot of them were so similar.
Yeah. I think I mostly remember the ones where I wasn't alone. I remember there was one year I was at your house with you and Emma. And then there was at least one year at Katie's party. And
we made a video at that party, which I'll put in the show notes.
Yeah, do it. It was a funny one. Whose idea was that?
I think it was yours.
No,
Katie's?
No, I think it was
Emma's?
Katie's. Emma's. It was Emma's, because I think it's on Emma's channel.
You know what? I think you're right.
It was Emma's idea. Yeah. There was a year... I mean, I'm sure there were multiple years with Alyssa and Louise, but there's one in particular that I can kind of remember, because my mom... I don't drink, but my mom bought us alcohol. So she bought Alyssa and Louise alcohol. I think we were 20.
Scandalous.
Right, yeah, so we just barely couldn't buy it. And I remember they wanted to drink, and so I asked her. I knew that she would do it. Well, because, I mean, she knows me. She knows that I'm responsible. And that I don't drink, so... We were just at our apartment. I think those are the only ones that I, like, vaguely remember.
Yeah, I remember a few. I mean, more than a few, but I don't think I have any spectacularly interesting stories for any of them.
I can make one up. So yeah, the worst Thanksgiving Thanksgiving. The worst New Year's I ever had was on Thanksgiving. That's why it was such a bad New Year's, because it was so early, and I just wasn't expecting it. So, alright, so I always spend New Year's alone, right? I've established this. But this New Year's came early on Thanksgiving, and so I was in the middle of eating turkey with my family, and I was like, I'm supposed to be alone right now, so I need all of you to leave. And they're like, you don't live here, you should probably leave. And I'm like, you're my family and you're telling me to go? That's the harshest thing anyone has ever said to me. And then the turkey was like, hey bro, stop eating me, this kind of hurts. And I was like, yo, turkey, I'm hungry, and you're being really inconsiderate. Because I just want to eat. And anyway, the turkey called my mom, and anyway, it was a whole thing. And now I guess she's addicted to crack. The turkey, not my mom. And that was the worst Thanksgiving, New Year's I've ever had.
I see. That does sound pretty bad.
I can't believe I almost forgot it.
Yeah, the talking turkey.
Well, it was a long time ago. I was only like 6, so.
Oh, man.
So it was extra harsh for my family to be like, go, because I was only 6.
Where would you go? Also, if you didn't live there, where did you live?
Oh, in a cave. Oh, I've lived, Timothy. I've lived.
Well, clearly. If you were going to rank the months of the year, I'm not asking you to rank all the months of the year, but if you were to do so, where would you rank January?
Huh. I do not know. I don't even know how I would rank the months.
What's your favorite month?
I mean, it's probably... See, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's either October or December.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like they're tied.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, because I don't want to pick one over the other.
Yeah.
So I think they're tied. And honestly, I think I might put November after them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to go October and December are tied for first, and then November is second, and then January is third.
Okay.
I think. And then the rest of them, I don't know. It might be summer right after that, and then spring. And then the rest of the winter months, because screw winter. It's so cold. I'm from Texas. I don't do cold very well. I don't do heat very well either, though. So maybe I'm just broken.
No, I feel sort of similarly, although I would gladly take the cold over the heat.
Well, because like winter months always make me sad. I handle it a lot better now, because now I'm like ready for it, you know?
Uh-huh.
And now I'm like, oh, okay, this is just like winter, it'll pass. But yeah, my early... You know what? I think that maybe part of why I get sad is because I was just a sad person in like my teens and my early 20s. I was just an unhappy person. So like maybe my brain still associates the cold with that. But anyway, at this point now I'm always like, okay, well, the sadness is coming. So just, be on the lookout, be ready for it. Is that it? Oh, that's it. All right, well, just do that quietly in the corner. I gotta keep doing this other stuff, so... So I think that's partially why. But I do love hoodies. God, I love hoodies and jackets. I've got so many of them, and then we live in Texas, so I can't wear them. Where would you rank January?
Well, I similarly would... October and December would also be my two favorite, but I think I would do October, then December, then November, then... Maybe then January. So not that different than you.
No, it's like basically the exact
The
same.
only difference was that I didn't tie October and December, I think.
I mean, yeah.
I think that's the way it'd go. Or maybe if we're having a particularly nice September, I would probably put that before January. But like if it's just a hot September, then no. I hate the heat. Oh. I was just wondering, because January, I feel like the month is so dominated by the fact that it's the first month of the year, Like
It's like the Monday of the year.
Yeah. I had never thought of it quite that way because I don't have the same feelings about it as I have about Monday.
Oh, interesting.
But I get what you mean.
Because like for me, everyone has always been like like, people are like, ugh, Mondays, you know? But I'm always kind of like, well, Monday for me is the day of hope because it's like the beginning of the work week. And I'm like, oh, look at all the things I'm going to get done. And then honestly, by Tuesday, I'm like, okay, well, the week's not going to look how I thought it would. But that's okay. Here's the new week. And then Thursday is well, if I don't sleep the rest of the week, I should get it all done fine. And then Sunday is the day where I'm like, oh, look, I'm just in time, totally finished, caught up on everything I meant to do this week. And then we start over on Monday. The day of hope.
I thought you hated hope.
I do.
Oh, okay. So you're saying you also hate Mondays, but for a completely different reason than other people do.
I mean, I guess so. Let's talk to the listeners. I feel like we haven't addressed the listeners much this episode, or maybe even the past couple episodes. Hey, listeners. I hope this year has been a year for you. I hope this year has been not easily handleable, but like, you know, not awfully handleable or something. I hope that this year has treated you as decently as it possibly could have.
Yes.
And I hope that your 2021 is significantly better than your 2020, both pandemically and personally. I hope you achieve many accomplishments. I hope you achieved many accomplishments this year. Yeah, let me know what you achieved this year. Hey, ask for advice if you want to ask for advice. But even if you don't want to ask for advice, email us at botherus@canibotheryou.com and tell us what you did this year that you're happy you did. Or something that happened to you. Tell me something good. Tell me something good. I just want to hear something good. Let me know. And unless you say otherwise, we'll read them in a future episode. Because good news is good.
I love that idea.
Yeah. So, I hope good things happen to you, and I hope you will share them with us. 2021 is bound to be better in some ways, at least, right?
Yeah. I mean, we really are on track for an effective vaccine, it sounds like. And,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get the Summer Olympics that we missed out on this year.
I forgot about the Olympics.
And I can't say anything political. As has been established. I'm not an apolitical person. We've been over this.
Yeah, we don't need to do this.
But at the very least, interesting and hopefully good things will happen in the world of government and policy. And what else? I mean, the world is our oyster. I don't know. That's maybe too hopeful. But there are good possibilities and things to look forward to and have hope about. And even if this year wasn't the best year, there's good times ahead, hopefully.
If you are anything like me and you're not interested in kindness or positivity or feeling hopeful, then I would just like to tell you, I hope you get all the darkness that you deserve. And don't kick puppies or babies, but want to all you want. Your feelings are valid. And drink the blood of your enemies. It helps with the youthful thing. So that's my advice to you for 2021. If you're not like me, that's also all very good advice. I'm just saying. If you were like Timothy, I would just tell you that you are valid. You are both as awkward and not as awkward as you think you are. Yes, you are funny. No, you are not talking too much. Yes, you are talking too much. But it's still funny. And start taking vitamins. That's my advice for the Timothy listeners. And if you are a combination of the two of us, you must be stopped.
Oh, goodness. Oh, listener, whoever you are, I hope that you know how important and necessary you are, how you impact other people's lives for the better, and how worthy worthy you are of love and happiness and health and joy. And I hope all those things come to you in the new year. And I hope that wasn't too cheesy, because I mean all of it. But if it was too cheesy, I mean, I am who I am.
Yeah. I posted a thank you post recently on the Can I Bother You Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, just saying thank you for listening to the show. But I'm going to say it in this episode now. Thank you for listening to the show this year. We hope that you will hang out with us more next year and in the many years to come, because evil never dies, so I'll be running the show forever. But thanks for spending the last few months of 2020 with us.
It's meant so much, like real talk, as they say in California.
Do we actually think our listeners too much? Maybe we think our listeners too much.
No, I don't think we can.
I feel like we're going to spoil them, and they're going to think that we like them.
We do like them.
But they don't need to think that. Oh, God. Are they listening to this right now?
Do you ever get the feeling that you're being listened to?
I feel that all the time.
I don't.
That was a good one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's about time.
I was due. Listeners, if you respect us, if you value our opinions, which hopefully you do if you're listening to us, or maybe you're listening to us to mock us. I don't really know. And now I'm spiraling. But if you would like some advice from us, you can write to us at botherus@canibotheryou.com or slip into our DMs. If, for some bizarre reason, you are interested in connecting more with me, you can find me on Twitter at TCJDV, on Instagram at Tomatio88, and on Facebook, just search Timothy Dailey-Valdes. I'll be right there waiting for you. Not in a creepy way. AJ, where can they find you?
I can be found on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at AJReyesF13. Come hang out with me.
AJ's a good person, and you would be lucky to have more of him in your life.
You are half right, Timothy.
Which half?
The second half. Timothy, I just don't... This is not the way to start the new year.
I know, falling into old patterns.
If you want to tell us how we should be starting the new year, though, you can let us know in a review on Apple Podcasts. Just tell us what we did right and what we did wrong and what you loved and what you really loved, and give us 5 stars. We would appreciate it.
Very much.
Yeah. And then also, since you're already reviewing us and leaving us 5 stars and stuff, you might as well subscribe and follow on your podcatcher of choice.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then also, if you'd like to support us monetarily, you can find us on Ko-fi at Can I Bother You. We would appreciate it.
Yes, we would.
Thank you again for your listening. Thank you again for all your help. Thank you again for surviving this year with us.
Yes.
We look forward to seeing you in the next year.
We do.
Yeah. This is Christmas Eve. Why am I so broken?
You're not broken.
This is New Year's Eve, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, we're putting this out on New Year's Eve. Maybe you're not listening to it on New Year's Eve. I don't know your life. But no matter when you are listening to it, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Sorry, we were going to try to do that together, weren't we?
No.
Oh.
I mean, we never talked about it.
3, 2, 1. Happy New
Year. I did that on purpose.
I know.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.